Let's dive into today's training, starting with some email marketing.
So now I want to get into the topic of email marketing. This can really become the lifeblood of your business. And this is honestly my favorite form of content marketing. If you're on my email list, you know how much fun I have with the email messages that I'm sending out. And this has really proven to me over the years to be an incredible source of engagement and business and customer service and all kinds of different things. So I really want to walk through what goes into effective email marketing. That's what we're going to cover in this video, as far as setting up funnels and landing pages and the logistics and opt-ins and autoresponder sequences and all those things. We'll get into that in section 3 when we talk about converting content into, paying customers. Right now, I want to talk about deploying email, deploying it as part of your content marketing strategy. And in using marketing emails, what makes them effective, what makes people engage. That's the key that we're going to focus on. So I've been doing some research for this module just to see how popular is email right now today as I'm recording this. And it's still amazingly strong. Who's using email? In the US alone, more than 85% of adults send or read email. Now, that's great, but this is what blew my doors off. And this is so true. I'm guilty of this. You probably are too. 99% of consumers check their personal email every day. But here's the really good part. Some people, and I'm probably higher than this, check their email inbox 20 times or more per day. Think about that for a second. Your ideal prospects, your ideal customers, 80 to 90% of them are using email daily. And of that 80 to 90%, they're checking their email constantly, like at least once an hour. So again, the point of this is email is still more relevant than ever as a form of content marketing. So when we talk about the type of emails that get opened and engaged with and responded to, it really comes down to understanding the psychology of our inbox. I don't know about you, but when I check my email 20 times a day, I'm not excited or just rushing in to my iPhone to check and see who sent a newsletter, right? Who sent a company update? Who sent industry news? Who sent something formal and stiff and boring and business jargon filled kind of text? I don't want that. What I want and what you want and what your ideal clients and customers want with the emails they receive is what I call infotainment. They want the information, the value, something that's going to help them, but they also want to be entertained. And so the psychology of a really effective marketing email is having a conversational tone, an entertaining kind of fun tone, the type of tone you take with your friends. When you send your friends email, you don't have all capitalized, formal, stiff subject lines, do you? You have quick, conversational exchanges. Your subject line might be something like, "Did you see this?" ? Or "Can you believe it?" ? Or "Amazing." And that's it, right? It's very conversational. And this is where it starts with your email subject lines. Understanding using a lowercase conversational type phrase works really well to get people curious, to capture their attention. It's conversational. And it fits on a mobile device. A couple short words, people, as they're skimming and thumbing through their phone, their mobile device, write a long-winded subject line is just going to get cut off with the dreaded ... You want to have a short subject line that fits into a mobile device. So here's an example of some of my favorite email subject lines, and I shared these back in video 10. I'll share this document again, but phrases like "it just works," or again, this is very conversational, "caught me by surprise." What caught you by surprise? I'm curious, what was it? Or "amazing moment." Such a powerful photo. Now I'm curious, what was the photo of? And then, of course, there's a story behind it. Or you can ask questions. Have you thought about this? Would you ever do this? Again, conversational tone. Even just a single word or two. Yikes, incredible. Did you hear the news? Bad idea, right? There's lots of curiosity built into these subject lines that is hard to replicate if it says newsletter, 2018 industry earnings stats. Nobody wants to read that. Again, to be successful with email marketing, you've really got to have something that's personal and conversational. So as I mentioned in section 1, one of my favorite things to do when creating content is a personal story plus a business lesson. That works incredibly well for email marketing. Perfect example. As I was putting together this online course that you're watching right now, something happened. I faced some serious adversity. It was late on a Friday night. I was trying to get a few more video modules recorded for you and for this training, and my computer crashed. I had a software glitch. I lost over 60 minutes of recording and editing. It was just devastating. And so here I am on a Friday night, just miserable, facing adversity, working on this online course. And so naturally, by now you know me, what's the first thing I thought? Well, there's probably a lesson in this. There's probably a piece of content I can create. I can create some content from my misery, right? So sure enough, I turned this into a piece of content and I sent it out on Friday night. And what I said was in the subject line, let me highlight it for you. Subject line, I said a Friday night confession. And what I decided was I'm going to take a personal story of this adversity I ran into on a Friday night, and I'm going to turn it into a little confessional. I'm going to take you behind the scenes as someone on my email list to really engage with me. And so I started out with this quote that had come up earlier in the day. One of my kids was doing a school report on, great quotes and famous business people, and he used this quote from Steve Jobs. I'm convinced about half of what separates successful entrepreneurs from the non-successful ones is pure perseverance. And so I started the email with that quote. And then I just talked about, life has been kicking my rear end. We've had a lot of stuff going on with my family and different things that have taken me away from work. And, my business coach I was talking about, he said, you're not making excuses. You've got legitimate reasons why you're having a rough go right now. And, as I'm talking about this, so I'm working on a Friday night, right? Sent the wife and kids out, trying to get videos done for this new course. 60 minutes just got lost with a software glitch. It's been one obstacle after another. And I get into the mindset element too. And I know this is something people can relate to. And this I'll also talk about in a minute, but mixing in practical with aspirational, really understanding mindset can play a huge role in connecting with your audience. So I'm talking about even me, who, hopefully some people at least view as successful, creating these online courses, successful entrepreneur, right? Even I'm talking about, Friday night confession. Fear and anxiety are pounding on the door. Failure keeps cackling at me, telling me how badly I'm blowing it. You know what? I'm not giving up. And this is where I pivot to my audience, right? I'm imbuing to them that I believe in you. Like you, I say, I will persevere. And then I say, like you, I will pick myself up, dust myself off, and get back into the arena. Because again, I want people who have this type of mindset of, I know it's not going to come easy. I know I'm going to get knocked down, but I'm going to get back up. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep battling. I want to be uncommon. I want to be unique. I want to succeed. I'm not afraid of adversity. So I'm calling to those people, flipping it back to them to motivate them. And then I say, right, remembering we're in this together. This is a big thing to build that trust and that empathy with your audience. Is I'm in the trenches with you. I'm an ally. I'm a mentor. I'm like Yoda. They're like Luke Skywalker. Let's get up. Let's keep moving. I'm in the trenches alongside you, cheering you on. Keep persevering. And I got so many messages back from this. So many people wrote back and said, this is exactly what I needed. I don't normally open emails on a Friday night. Your subject line caught my curiosity, right? A Friday night confession. What does he have to confess? But then it was tapping into the mindset and the psychology of your audience. Conversational. Hey, I'm having struggles. I want you to know you're not alone if you're feeling this too. That's the way to create engaging email. Now, notice nowhere in this did I put a call to action, a sales message, anything like that. You've got to understand when you do email marketing, it's really relational. It's really building trust and relationship, knowing when is the time to sell, when is the time to ask for something, when is the time just to have a conversation, when is the time to tell a joke. Just like you build relationships in real life, you build relationships through email marketing. So if I look at my most recent batch of emails that I've been blasting out to my list, this one is a sales email, but it's not designed in a pushy way. It's basically saying, hey, I'm going to be speaking at this big industry event. Do you want to join me? If you're coming, let me know. Let's meet up. And I disclose in there that, yes, here's my affiliate link to the event. If you sign up to go, I get compensated, right? But that's a soft sell. Now, we've got a straight training video using LinkedIn for lead generation. And again, a conversational topic. It was so exciting. And I'll break that email down for you in a minute. But just looking at the variety, then I'm talking about the overcoming adversity. No training, no sales pitch, just a Friday night confession. I'm in the trenches with you. This, adversity I ran into tonight on Friday made me think of you. I know that like you, I'm going to keep persevering, etc. Then I've got a couple of emails I wrote and split tested. These are sales emails, and these are based off of Mary Henderson, a student inside my LinkedIn Riches training, had some amazing success. And so I tell her story, right? The moment that changed everything, and talking about her use of LinkedIn and her story. And then a life-changing moment was the split test. I sometimes test different subject lines. And then I pivot to, if you want to see how Mary did this, and if you want to replicate her results, then go on this webinar where I have my LinkedIn Riches online course. But that's the idea, is mixing these in. So VR, virtual reality, I used a story, again, a personal story plus an invite. So let me walk through a few of these to show you how it goes, how email psychology is. So let's take this as an example. It was so exciting. This is a straight training piece of content. All this is a link to a training video and a blog post on how to generate leads with LinkedIn. So I could have made the subject line training video, how to find leads using LinkedIn search and how to engage, right? Like that would have been so boring. So instead I turned it into a conversational fun story. It was so exciting. What was, right? And then I start with the first lines, right? My fingers couldn't fly fast enough along the keyboard. I'm painting a scene. Think of this like a movie or a screenplay. A grin flashed on my face as I imagined the reaction of my new LinkedIn connection. And then I say, here's what I sent him. Right? And then it's a GIF, an animated image of my favorite college mascot, Goldie Gopher, crushing our arch rival, our nemesis, our enemy, Bucky Badger, in a fake wrestling stunt, And I'm talking about, again, pivoting from the funny story. Trust me, there's a professional purpose behind this. And then I talk about how to engage on LinkedIn. And then in this case, for my list of people, I'm basically bringing you over and saying, if you want to see how I went through this, go over here to my blog and video, and you can watch and see how to use LinkedIn for lead generation. Now, I used this title because when I published this video on YouTube, I wanted a very practical how-to title. So using LinkedIn for lead generation. And then in this video, I walk through on a screen recording, again, content marketing. Here's how to use LinkedIn for lead generation. Here's how I'm going in, looking at people's profiles, personalizing my messages. Here's how to do one-on-one marketing with LinkedIn. Okay. And at the bottom, of course, I've got a call to action. I'm always connecting the content, go over, get on my webinar. But the whole point was I delivered that with a fun infotainment type email. Conversational, chatty, kind of funny, putting some goofy images, right? And I say, in case you're from Wisconsin and a fan of that school, here's a parting shot, right? And that's our mascot throwing a snowball on Welcome to Wisconsin, as it should be, right? And again, one more quick example of this. Always looking for a personal story plus a business lesson. So I took my kids to the mall. And they went to this virtual reality arcade. You can see it here where this is the Jurassic Park ride. So you sit in this thing that looks like a Jeep. You put on this virtual reality headset and then dinosaurs are chasing you, right? And the chairs are moving and wind blows from a fan and it feels real, okay? I said it was terrifying. Conversational, all lowercase, just like I would send to a friend. Someone is going to see that subject line and say, what was terrifying? What happened? Are you okay? Did you see a ghost, right? And so I start again with storytelling. The earth shook. My son screamed in terror at what was approaching. Remember, these first few lines are critical because on a mobile device, when you see a preview of an email, and on most desktop clients too, you only see the subject line and the first few lines of an email. So you really have got to earn their curiosity to click through. That's why the subject line and then the first couple lines of your email are so important, because again, that lures people into the story. Okay, the earth shook. My son screamed in terror. Whoa, what was happening, right? The roar of the dinosaur was deafening. It looked like there was no way out. And then I pivot to, and then the ride stopped, right? The boys were at a virtual reality place. This is what it looked like. Because again, I'm bringing images in to help tell the story. And herein lies the lesson. I pivot to the business lesson. And again, it's from a book on mindset. And so I'm just talking again about how's your mindset? Are you working on this? Are you, taking control of your thoughts and making sure that they don't impact you negatively with business? But there's another example of a simple way to take a personal story plus a business lesson, turn it into an email that gets opened and engaged with. So the other key element of successful email marketing, along with conversational and infotainment, those approaches, you also want to share the journey. You really want to help people feel like you are in the trenches too, or you have walked in their shoes. This is very, very important. People will not buy from you if they don't feel like you get their world, if they don't feel like you understand what it is like or what it was like. That's so important to share your story of, I was once in your shoes. I once had these challenges. Here's the obstacles I overcame. I want to show you how to do the same thing. Remember that hero's journey, those 3 simple phrases: what it was like, what happened, and what it's like now. If you can take those 3 phrases and integrate those into your email marketing, you're going to have a lot of success connecting and engaging with your audience. People want you to be relatable. They want to know that you've had tough times. Being transparent, being authentic, sharing your journey, obstacles overcome. That's the stuff that great email is made of. So as an example, when I get someone new onto my LinkedIn Riches email list, where I eventually want to sell them my LinkedIn Riches online training course, I start with the subject line, my big secret, my big LinkedIn secret. But look where I'm starting with transparency. Back in 2012, I was terrified. I was also excited. And I talk about my hero's journey. I just quit my safe 6-figure day job to start a new business from scratch. And this is a true story, by the way, I had one client, enough money for 30 days, and my wife was at home with our 3 young boys, right? That would be the terrified part. I'm telling you, if you're a solopreneur, a business coach, a consultant, a small business owner, I've been in your shoes. Like, I know what it's like to leave behind the corporate world, the safe day job, and start your own business. And I say I also had a plan, right? And then I talk about, what it was like. I was terrified, right? What happened was I had a plan, and within 90 days, I generated 6 figures in revenue, all of it from LinkedIn. Right? That was what happened. And then what it's like now, I've got all this freedom and things like that, but I'm going to show you how I did it. I'm going to show you how you can do the same thing. I believe in you. It's possible. This is a formula that you can replicate. It's easier than you think. And then I pivot back to the audience. What's your why? I want to get into your emotional headspace. If you can relate to this, quitting your day job, wanting more freedom, tell me what it is, right? Why do you do what you do? And again, I like to use images to humanize myself. So here I am back around 2012, coming home from that soul-sucking, draining day job to my 3 young boys and thinking, man, I got to be home more. I don't want to miss their childhood. And now one of them's in high school, right? Like, they've grown up so fast the past 6 years. And this is the idea, sharing the journey. I didn't start as some LinkedIn guru with all the answers and this, successful course and best-selling book. Like, I started out terrified. I started out with 1 client and enough money for 30 days. That's me. That's the truth of my journey. And the beautiful thing is, people, when you start them there, they go, oh, okay, you started there and now you're here. I believe I can follow your footsteps and follow your path and do the same thing. So I'll get into this more when we get into sales funnels and autoresponders and email sequences. But even if you just look through the LinkedIn Riches emails, I'm mixing in case studies of people that are having success just like you, right? Just like me. I'm talking about tips, like here's how to create a profile, just straightforward and practical, how to go viral on LinkedIn, a mega blog where I share a bunch of information, more case studies, how to get celebrities to endorse you, right? Then some mindset things, a Rick Warren mindset story, another thing about how to find new leads in 14 seconds or less, inviting to my sales webinar, right? Pivoting over to more tips with advanced searches, another mindset thing about Babe Ruth, another thing about the importance of emotion, then pivoting back to inviting people again to a sales webinar, mixing in the practical, the aspirational, and the emotional. That's the key with email marketing. You're entertaining people, you're delivering information, you're delivering value, you're delivering quick wins that they can utilize and do things with, but you're also building a relationship. They start to feel like they really know you. They know your life, they know your passions, they know your hobbies, they know your journey. Where did you come from? What were the things that shaped you into where you're at now? And why are you so passionate about the things you are now? Remember, we're dealing with human beings. We're dealing with relational creatures. So we really want to focus on that in our email marketing. Take a close look at this video. Watch it again. Pay attention to the notes. Pay attention to the attachments that go with this video, the subject lines, some of the sample emails. Get a feeling for those tones that I use, the conversational, the infotainment, the personal story, plus a business lesson, pivoting into what's in it for the audience, mixing in the practical and the aspirational. All of these elements are what go into successful email marketing. And the more you do it, the more people are going to engage, and the more email really does become the lifeblood of your business. So with that said, I leave you to it. Soak in some of these examples, start testing it out, start writing some emails like this, and when you're ready, let's move on to the next video.
All right, so I want to come back on camera now. All right, love it, love it, love it. And let's see, we got comments coming in. Mark is making bad jokes, par for the course. Let's see here. Kurt, as a former prof, loved the edutainment. All right, Paul is a fan of the edutainment, education and entertainment. Love it. And that's true. Like whether you call it infotainment, education, and entertainment, like really, the gist of email and what I really want to hammer home is understanding you have to entertain people. Like there's a great quote from How to Win Friends and Influence People, one of the books I always talk about from 1936. And Dale Carnegie wrote all the way back in 1936, he said, we live in the era of entertainment. It's not enough just to simply state a fact. You have to do it in dramatic fashion. And he wrote that in 1936. I think that was everything, like pre-internet, TV, whatever, like radio was just coming on. Think about today, how much more true that is. Like you've got to catch people's entertainment, attention, etc. And the great thing about that is people haven't changed. Like how we get entertained hasn't changed. It's storytelling, humor, curiosity. It's the same elements. You just have to know how to put that into your copy, which, by the way, I'll show you really quick here, is, something I'm going to show you more of here at the end is this course, Email Marketing Machine. I'll get into offering this at the end of today's training, but that's a lot about what I'm going to go into in the course is showing you some of these ways to do it, right? So like the whole, templates and things like that. So I won't dive into what's in the course yet, but I just wanted to kind of tease that because that is key is I've really figured out how to bottle this up. So before we get too far behind on the clock here, I want to share one more video with you today. And this one is really kind of a behind the scenes look. This is kind of how I go about putting together an email, the anatomy of an email from start to finish, how I kind of think about that in the big picture, tie it into sales, all that good stuff. So without further ado, let me hop off camera again. Want to pop into another training from the email marketing course. Again, kind of behind the scenes anatomy of an email. So let me pull that up and let's dive in.
Hey, it's John Nemo. So I thought I would show you something interesting, a little bit of how the sausage is made, the digital sausage. So what I did, I just recorded and uploaded a new podcast episode. And I wanted to walk you through a little bit of the mindset and the techniques that go into then promoting that content, kind of building out that content funnel. Because of course, obviously, people who subscribe to the podcast, Nemo Radio here in the iTunes store and everywhere else, they're going to automatically have the podcast just pop into their feed when it refreshes, so it's getting delivered that way. But I also want to share the podcast with my larger audience, with people that maybe haven't listened yet or haven't subscribed to the podcast. So what I'm going to walk you through right now is how I do the email marketing for a piece of content, because I know that's a question I get all the time is, hey, I like your marketing emails. How do you do them? What's the thought process? So right now I'm inside Entreport, which is my email marketing software that I use, and I'm going to send out a blast message. And what you can see, at the top, I have the theme of the email and then who it's from, all that stuff. The subject line, obviously, I always want to put a lot of thought into. And in this one, I'm going to say, a curiosity kind of play. The big secret experts aren't telling you. And the two things I want to really illustrate with a good email marketing approach is you've got to tie together the subject line, which is right here, and the first sentence or two. Okay. You really want to just suck people in so that they open the note, right? You can't expect people to get excited about a subject line that just said new podcast episode, right? Or listen now, right? It has to be like curiosity invoking. Well, what is the big secret that these, and I'm putting quotes around experts, like the intonation here is, what are these so-called experts not telling you, right? And then with the first line, I'm really trying to pull people in. I first discovered it back in 1997. It's helped dictate all my success as a result. Ooh, okay. So now I feel like we're moving into, the secret territory, right? Remember that from like a decade or two ago? Like, the secret. Like, okay, it's not that. It's not hocus pocus. And then I pivot into, why aren't more people sharing it? And then I quickly move into, I'll unpack the secret and how it impacts your business on this episode of Nemo Radio, which is the podcast. And then what I do is, I've noticed I get more clicks if I make it very clear in the hyperlink what the call to action is. So I use words like listen, or I use words like, if it's a blog post, instead of the word listen, I'd say read. Or if it's a webinar or a training video, I would say watch. Like, put a little all capital word in there that's a call to action. Listen, read, watch, so they know what to do, right? And then obviously the text is hyperlinked and it's kind of tying into the subject line. The big secret experts aren't telling you. Listen, here's the big secret, right? And then I just kind of end with one more line. I haven't even finished the email yet, so I haven't sent it yet. And then I do a little signature, John Nemo, whatever it is. Okay, but here's the other thing that goes into email marketing that I don't know how many people check this. So I email myself a copy. You can send a test email here in Entreport, send a test email to your, email address, whatever. And then what I do is I look at it on my iPhone. So this is actually what it looks like on my iPhone here, okay? So you can see the big secret experts aren't telling you. And I've sent it to myself several times over the last few minutes. And the reason is I'm really checking to see two things. One is, does this subject line fit on one line on a standard iPhone mobile device? And then also, is the first sentence right here, readable, and does it draw people in? And so you can see with the earlier versions of this, I first discovered it back in the very bottom one, and it's helped dictate blah, 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 but it kind of runs out of room. And the second one, I first discovered it in 1997. It's helped dictate all of my professional success as a blah, 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 blah. So like what I wanted to do was shorten, trim. So now the first sentence, I first discovered it back in 1997, and it's helped dictate all of my success as a result. That's a strong sentence. If you combine the subject line and that first sentence, that's going to intrigue people to say, okay, what is it? It's over 20 years ago he discovered this secret. It's something that experts aren't sharing with me. What is it, right? And so that's the key to really getting people on the email marketing side to open it up. Send it to yourself as a test email and look at it on your mobile device. This is the inbox on my iPhone. So I can see, sending multiple versions with changing the first sentence around. Am I going to get sucked in as a reader with this headline and the first sentence. If not, I might delete it or pass on or come back to it later. So you cannot afford a lot of exposition, a lot of, talking and setting stuff up. Just get right to the chase. Just like a good book, just like the opening sentence of a great article or a great book, they suck you in with some kind of story or some kind of scenario or some kind of situation. And in this case, I first discovered it back in 1997. I feel like I'm Indiana Jones, right? Like, what is it? What did you uncover? So that's the idea behind this. And then once I get all this queued up, then I'll send it out. But this is an idea of repurposing the content. And then the landing page where I say, listen, the other thing with podcast marketing that I've found is as I send people to this landing page, and you can see it's got different options. The way that podcasts work is some people don't want to listen to it on my website, right? So I've got a whole player here with all the different episodes. You can go through, you can play them right on the site, et cetera, et cetera. Some people like to do that, and some people will play it right on the site. Other people would rather just click and have it redirect to their iTunes app or their Stitcher app or SoundCloud, right? And what I want to do right away is give people options, especially on their mobile phone, of their preferred, way to consume a podcast. So what I do with my website software, I just use WordPress and OptimizePress. I put up a logo, the iTunes or the Stitcher or the SoundCloud logo, and I make it clickable. I make it a hyperlink so that if you click on this logo, it redirects you to my iTunes URL for the podcast. Same with Stitcher, same with SoundCloud. But right below that, of course, then I have the full podcast player, and this new episode will pop in here and replace the one with AJ Wilcox. And then below it, I just have the podcast description, and again, some text links to those different channels, the 3 channels that I put it on. I also have it like on Google Play and other places, so eventually I can add those in. But this is a very effective way to increase the listens. Remember, your audience wants it fast and easy. Me personally, I'm an iTunes listener. I never mess with Stitcher. I don't care about SoundCloud, right? Let me try to exit out properly. I never listen on people's websites to their players. I immediately look for iTunes, because I have it on my phone. It's all queued up. I organize it. So make sure you really understand how your audience wants to consume the content, and then make that easy on the back end, right? The front end, I'm sending them over to a website where they can consume the content, right? But then on the back end, you want to make sure it's easy to listen to. And the last thing, maybe the most important thing with the email marketing, send yourself the message and see, does the subject line and the first sentence, can you read them? Do they all fit? And does it suck you in? Does it make you curious? Does it make you have to know what the secret was or what happened next? That's the big key. So there you go. There's a little bit behind the scenes, behind the curtain of how the digital sausage is being made here on the content marketing side. Hope you loved it, and we'll talk more soon.
All right. Man, we are flying through the lessons here. So I want to stop for a second and see what you're thinking. So if you're enjoying this, if you want more email marketing tips, you know what time it is. All right. Type yes in the chat if you want more. Who wants more? Do you want more? I need to know this is resonating with you. Type yes in the chat if you're loving this. If you want to learn more, get more of these email marketing tips. And it really is honestly the lifeblood of my business and every other successful business owner I know. All right, Reagan says yes. Glory. All right, good. Norman is all in, all caps. Kelly is a yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, because it really is critical. Like understanding this. Ian, all right. Jerry, good. Mark says yes. All right. All right. I love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Good, good, good. And then, it really is understanding what goes into great email. And so what I want to say, Steve Baker, glad that you want more. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Because again, I alluded to this a little bit earlier, but I've actually got an entire course called Email Marketing Machine. And so by now, you know me, I'm Mr. Online Courses here on the Fridays, but really understanding I've put all this in to a very simple training, really filled with kind of all my best templates, strategies, scripts, subject lines. Very, very simple, right? So I'm going to give you lots and lots of swipe files. Like you can literally take my best performing emails and just copy and paste them. So like literally, here's the email subject line. Here's the email. Like these are just great stories, infotainment stories. And then you can insert your own kind of, whatever it is you want people to relate to. So like if you haven't gotten this course yet, Email Marketing Machine, like this is really going to be the fastest way to implement what we're talking about. Because again, I'll give you emails. I'll give you all these different emails pre-written where you can go in and then you just put in whatever it is that you want people to link on or click to. So it's a combination of things. It's really understanding both, what goes into it, the strategy, also the swipe files. So you can just, use pre-written emails. I've got a whole section on cold emails for you. So following up with people, how to get people to respond to you, like what are the right subject lines, pre-written cold emails. So you can just have kind of, quick ways to chase down people, case studies, interviews. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of good stuff in here. So let me do this. I want to make sure I get that open for everyone. I realized I didn't have the link pop open for everybody. So let me throw that in. So let me remove it here and then let me pop open attendees. Okay, boom. All right, so the link should be opening and I'll say get email marketing machine here. Oh, and by the way, it's 50% off. I'm giving it to you for 50% off. So it's only $147. Normally, this is a $300 or more training. And what I'm going to do, get email marketing machine here. So I'm going to put it in the chat, and then I'll also put up a little offer thing you can click on, a new tab. Sign up for it. It's just one payment of $147. And it's all of the email strategy. But even better for a lot of people I know too, they're like, just tell me what works. Just give me what works. So it's really, I'll give you the emails. I'll give you the subject lines to use. I'll give you several pre-written emails, the ones that I use that are like my highest converting emails. Let me put the offer up here. And basically, you can go in and you can copy and paste it all. And so let me, while you guys are looking at that and signing up, and let me know in the chat if you're signing up. I love to celebrate and scream and get excited. So this is the page where you sign up for the course. Like all my courses, 30-day risk-free money-back guarantee. You see down here everything you're going to discover. We also get into everything with landing pages and email sequences and campaigns and like how to put it together. You see there's a live chat here. So if you have one-on-one questions for me, you can talk to me live one-on-one. Also, we get into sales funnels. We get into, again, I was showing you the copy and paste templates. And it's just like all my other courses. It's in Thinkific. So you'll be able to go in. You'll see it here. You can go through the different lessons. You've got all the structures and systems, right? Behind the scenes, trainings, sales funnels, how to instantly improve it, right? Lots and lots of swipe files, like full emails, which are really valuable just to kind of deploy and use to get people engaged, to get them reading, to get them excited. Cold emails. We've got some case studies and interviews in here. There's some really, really good stuff. So I'm super excited for you guys to get your hands on this. All right. Jerry Cooper already jumped in. Glory. All right, Jerry. Thank you. Thank you. Excited to get you going on this. Somebody let me know too if you're jumping in. And if you have questions, if you have email questions, I am here and happy to answer those. What other topics do people, I'm trying to think what your typical questions are with email marketing. I mean, the biggest questions I always get, Kurt says, glory. All right, Kurt, are you getting in? Or do you already have it, Kurt? I can't remember. But you would definitely, Kurt, I think Kurt already bought Email Marketing Machine. I know Kurt has been doing a lot with email marketing. So, yeah, Kurt missed that while I was on break. Thank you. Yeah. All right, Anthony has a good question. All right, so let me I'm going to share my screen just so people can see. Okay. Yeah. Kurt already has Email Marketing Machine. And Kurt was saying earlier, you've really been doing well with email. Kurt has, and I think Kurt has been deploying a lot of what we teach in Email Marketing Machine to fill up his appointment calendar, financial advisor. So this is good. I'm glad that you've been doing it. Anthony has a good question. He says, when you first had the idea to teach folks how to use LinkedIn to generate leads, how did you go about finding content to use in your emails at the beginning? So basically, Anthony, I just used a really simple formula that I teach in Email Marketing Machine. And that was just like personal story plus business lesson. So for example, I would say, hey, one of the real tips I'm understanding on LinkedIn is you should personalize your invitations. Like that's just something I'm learning when I'm doing lead generation on LinkedIn. You should personalize it. And so instead of just saying that in an email, Anthony, instead of just saying personalize your LinkedIn invites, it'll work better, I would tell a story. I'd be like, hey, I found this guy, Kurt from Madison. And I decided when I was going to send him an invite, I would make a joke about the rivalry between Minnesota and Wisconsin and our sports teams. And here's how I did it. And this is what I showed today, the animated GIFs with our mascots fighting and stuff. So really, you just have to look at your own experience and look for ways, again, to do that infotainment, information and entertainment, and just use good stories, right? So like, the other big thing is what will get people quick wins. That's also always key email content, Anthony, is like, what's something that people can do that's simple and will get them a quick win? Turn that into an email. Like, hey, if you're looking to get more leads on LinkedIn, here's one simple little tweak, that you can make to your headline, right? A little formula, a little template. That stuff is gold. So good questions. Reagan is saying, yeah, clean data. Yeah, that's huge. Getting the right thing. Case studies work great. Telling stories. Yeah, storytelling is key. And I put a lot of that, Kurt, as Kurt knows, into email, right? And especially into the strategy and the systems, right? How to strategy. Here's another thing. I don't know if Kurt knows I added this, but I actually added some private training that we do for our copywriters. So at Nemo Media Group, we obviously have a full done-for-you marketing agency for LinkedIn lead generation, webinars, all kinds of stuff. I actually have private training for our copywriters that work for me, who I personally train, and I put some of that into this course. So you actually get my training for my own team members of what goes into this, what goes into a good email, behind the scenes, like literally like how Nemo Media Group does it. So it really is getting into a lot of this. Like, and here's like an hour-long training I did with all these different things, subject lines, landing pages, sample emails, again, that you can take. Here's like a simple 3-step sales funnel you can use for emails, sequences. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you guys got to get this. And again, this is 50% off. So this is normally a $300 course. You get it for one payment of $147. And the way that you sign up, you just fill out first name, last name, email, put in your card info or PayPal, and then just hit place order now. And again, you get a 30-day risk-free. The beautiful thing about this course in particular is like you can get the quick wins. Like Kurt was talking about, like he's already getting, results, right? Yeah, might have to warm up your email. Yeah. This is all good stuff. Attachments, true. How do you overcome your emails landing in the Google promo box? Yeah, there's certain keywords you want to avoid. Talking about money making and, hype kind of stuff. People ask questions, more than likely someone else might have the same question. Yeah, that's another one for email topics. That's a great one where, look at what your clients are telling you. What are the biggest objections that you normally get, Anthony, to your business? That's a great one. Anthony, what do you do for work again? Whatever it is, like what are the key objections people have before they'll give you money? Turn those into emails, right? That's a big one. So let me see. Okay, want to see if anybody else signing up, let me know. I got my phone muted, so I'm not getting all the dings like normal. Mark, I wouldn't ever do attachments to emails. I would do links to something. So a good email is, storytelling, whatever, and then link out of the email to a page on the internet. That's really what works best. And Kurt is saying the same thing. Send them to a landing page. Emails with attachments will often get flagged and put in the spam because people think it's a virus or whatever. So good questions. I'm trying to see if anybody else has any questions. This is all good stuff. Okay, so here's what I want to do. Just trying to catch up on the chat here. Let's do this. What I want to do is make sure everyone has time to jump in and grab the offer. Again, it's 50% off right here, right now. More about landing page, says Jerry. Landing page basically just means where you're hosting your content, right? So, for example, if I said to you, hey, I want to share with you a ebook I created or a blog post, some text I created about whatever. If you're just sending it to one person, you might just do it as an attachment. Here's the PDF or whatever. When you're doing, bulk emailing to a list of people, you want to link it to a piece of content or hyperlink to the file and they can download it through like Dropbox or something. So I get into all that in the training. It's probably too hard to explain right now. But yes, you want to send people to pages on your website. That's the key thing. Also, the other thing, if you think about it, let me show you an example. The other reason I like doing that, and I'll reshare my screen here for Jerry and everybody else, when I'm able in an email to say, hey, I want to share a link with you to a training or whatever it is, like I want them to go to my website. And the reason is, if I can send you to my website to, let's say, read a blog post. So for example, instead of just attaching something to an email or whatever, if I can get you to my website to, be looking at it, then what can happen is you can go through all these other sections, right? Work with me, tips, etc. So that's why you want to link people to landing pages so they can spend more time on your site. That's another just kind of key piece there. All right. Love it, love it, love it. All right. So let's do this. I want to make sure everybody gets over and grabs the training while it's 50% off. So let me put that in one more time. And if do you have any questions before we switch off of the live signal? Let me know. Okay, get the training for half off here. All right, I'm putting that in. Here's what I want to do. I want to make sure we get everybody signed up who's getting in. You get it for 50% off. Again, you can copy my emails. Like you can literally just copy them, paste them, fill in the offer that you want to put. And these are my highest performing. These are the ones that get opened all the time. They're great kind of stories that work for any occasion, any type of business. They're not my personal stories. They're stories about Babe Ruth and Einstein and Bruce Lee and other things. And so those even are worth getting a course just so you can have some emails that get people engaged and wanting to read your content, listen to your podcast, book a call, whatever it is. So with all that said, let's do this. Let's jump over, if you haven't already, let me show you, jump over to this page, the Email Marketing Machine page. And then at the bottom where it says chat with John Nemo, if you have more questions about whether or not the course is a good fit for you, email questions, whatever, just click on that and we can chat one-on-one. And then that way we can wrap up the webinar part because I know a lot of times people want to have one-on-one conversations too. So with all that said, thank you. Thank you for being on this week. I hope everybody has an amazing Labor Day weekend. Hop over, grab the email course, start using those scripts and subject lines and templates. And then also I'll be over there for any one-on-one questions you have. And let's go from there. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday for another session.